welcome to this week's show. Next week on the show we're doing another woods ball show, and this week we're going to show you one of the old school tactics that I still love to do. But this tactic only works when you're playing in big games or scenario games or something like that. It's called the cloverleaf flank. Let me show you how it's done. In order to truly understand the cloverleaf flank, you have to understand one thing, that it works on big games and scenario game fields. So the field has to be pretty big. Well, how big is big? Let me show you. This would be your average speedball field. This would be something like a 10-man field. This would be your average rec ball woods field. And this would be something like a larger woods ball field. But you see, when you're playing in the scenario games, they put all their fields together in one place, so you have large amounts of space to... Would you quit that? A lot of people run into the problem that they're not looking anywhere outside of their blinders. They're just looking at the guy that they're shooting at, so they're not looking anywhere else. So what you want to do is you want to utilize the one advantage that you have on a big game field, and that is space. Lots and lots of space. Use every inch of this space that you can. Lots of space. You know this is a musical? I break into song right there. So let's take a situation you're probably going to run into at a big game or a scenario game someplace. Your force has met another force and the fight has stagnated out. All you're doing is you're just sitting in your spot and shooting at each other. And for lack of a better place, they are going to be here. And you are about 150 feet that way. So what do? You cloverleaf. The reason this is called the cloverleaf flank is that when you do it, it's going to remind you a little bit about those cloverleaf exits that you see on the highway, because this is a very grand flanking maneuver. Now the move starts when you're in your stagnant firefight. We're back here, they're up there, and nobody's really moving. So somebody's got to do something. Might as well be you. Now the first step in this is to actually move backwards. Now you might think that that's not the best thing to do, but what you're doing is you're pulling out of their visual range. Not just their paintball range, but their visual range. Once you pull back, now you want to choose a side, left or right, depending on what's best for you at that particular moment. Then you want to swing wide. You want to swing as a curve around the field. Now when you're swinging wide like that, there's a couple things you got to watch for, specifically members of the other team. You might have a stagnant firefight over here, but you might accidentally run into a small patrol of people. You might run into one or two other people who are trying to also cloverleaf flank. So keep an eye open for that. Don't be afraid to set up a hasty ambush if you have to, in order to take out the other team as they walk up on you. On your wide flank around, camouflage is important, but you're not utilizing it in the normal way. As we all know, people don't see you in camouflage when you're not moving. But what you want to do is you want to use your camouflage to mask your movement. You're not trying to hide behind trees, you're just trying to blend into the background. Again, keep in mind that the people that you're flanking on, they got the gun blinders on, they're not looking at you. They're looking at the shootout that's happening right in front of them. Now when you're doing your cloverleaf, every once in a while you want to find cover like this and you want to check around you. Check your flanks, check your front. What you're doing is you're trying to make sure that you're not getting surrounded and you're not putting yourself in a worse situation than you were to begin with. Because you're not exactly going sprinter fast, but you're not going crawling slow either. And odds are you're not going with many friends. So when you get to a nice spot, check your bearings, look left, look right, look forward, looks good, I'm moving. Now the fun part. Once you get on the flank of them, or even better, if you can keep moving, get behind them. The idea is that you want to get yourself on a position where they're not protected from you. And once you're in that position, let them have it. The last part of this is to stay in the game. You might be spotted. You might get only 1 or 2 out of 20 people, but that's fine. As long as the other team panics because they're so concerned about you, that frees up your team in front of them to just run up and take them out. Do everything in your power to stay in. Don't cheat, but stay in. Now something the astute among you might have figured out. This is the boundary line between the field that I was shooting into and the field that I was on. Now during a big game, this is absolutely meaningless, because this is not the main boundary. The main boundary goes all the way around. So when you come across one of these on the field, ignore it, because a lot of people will sit and play on one field only and figure that, you know, this is out of bounds, when it isn't. Like I said, space. Lots of space. There's 3 basic components to all paintball play: angles, communication, teamwork. This week, we got angles. The other two, well, we're going to cover that another time. But we're going prop hunting, so catch you guys next week. Kamikaze bug.
Seedling.
That was a seedling? Dang.
Those little helicopter things?
Yeah. Wow, that came right at me too. Good thing I had my paintball cat-like reflexes.